Hello, everyone. Welcome to the launch of ICP Chain Fusion Bitcoin Edition Educate series. I am Emma. I will be your program manager, and you can find me on the following links. Hello in the chat. Hi, Eomji. I will just make a small introduction and then Eomji can have the stage. If you have any questions, you can find me here as well. A bit about Encode. We're a global community of developers, professionals, and talented students in emerging tech. And what we do series like this one, Educates, 4-week programs, free to join for everyone. All sessions are recorded and uploaded on YouTube as well. Also hackathons, accelerators, boot camps, and recruitment. There will also be a hackathon after this ICP Chain Fusion Bitcoin Edition Educate series, which you will also be able to participate and win bounties for. A bit about Encode and Internet Computer. Today we're launching this event, and in October, again, the mentioned hackathon, where everyone can participate as well. Today we're going to hear from Eomji Park from Encode as an introduction to ICP, and on Thursday we'll hear from Definity on how to use ICP as Bitcoin layer 2. The workshops are every Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 weeks, and all sessions are recorded and uploaded on YouTube as well. This is again a preview of what's to come. Make sure you join the community on Discord and find out more about our programs here. I'll leave it up for a second while I invite Eomji to the stage. If you have any questions, again, pop it in the chat or in the questions tab. Eomji, I'll leave the stage to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen right now. Let me share my screen. Cool. Here we are. So first, welcome everyone to the session. Very excited to meet all of you. I'm Eomji, Head of Research and Operations at Encode Club. If I look extremely orange, it's not because I'm eating a lot of carrots, but because of my slide deck is orange, and it looks so funny that I look so orange. I'm currently located in Korea, visiting my family and also some conference like back in one after each other in APEC at the moment. So it's quite exciting that it's 1:30 a.m. workshop session. So if my voice sounds a little bit low, please bear that in mind. Otherwise, we're going to have a very exciting session today. So first, what is ICP Chain Fusion? Some of you, I can say that you were in maybe our previous ICP series. Some of you, maybe you're new here. Either you're interested in Bitcoin a lot, or you're interested in ICP and what it's all about. So today, which is quite unusual, normally I would start with ICP, but I'd love to start with Bitcoin and in general the blockchain. So first generation of the blockchain Bitcoin, which was invented replacing the current finance system. So it launched around 2009, introduced as a first user blockchain to create decentralized digital currencies. A lot of cryptocurrency are coming from that time, which not necessarily representing of the most of blockchain application of now. It allowed peer-to-peer transactions without intermediary. And it was such innovation that the distributed system or decentralized system was kind of somewhat around, for a while, a few decades, people were researching around. Blockchain was one of the use case itself. Now everyone is asking, what is use case of blockchain? But blockchain was kind of use case of all those researches around to see distributed system at scale functioning, replacing the finance system. And then, of course, there's some limitation, very well-known one. We were talking about maybe scalabilities, and also it's quite complex, so there not so many people could use. And because of the scalability, all proof work related stuff, either people could join the, let's say, network easily. It happened later stage, or relatively slow transaction speed. And there's another thing was there's like another brilliant set of people were thinking, as we are having such innovation coming along, why don't we adding some other features on this, so they're like not only functioning as a currency, if we can make smart contracts. So the Ethereum is the second generation blockchain, which is adding smart contract as a feature. Launched around 2015, expanding the capability. It opened up a lot of different use cases. So not only people transferring certain amount of asset to each other, now we can, let's say in oversimplified way, we can make some promise contracts on top of it, which is going to be executed when it meets certain condition. So that brings certain, developers, engineers who are extremely interested in building decentralized applications on top of it, or the protocol itself, all the decentralized protocol who can serve as an infrastructure layer. And of course, programming language called Solidity become popular, or different protocols are thinking how we can even improve Ethereum, given that Ethereum become popular, and when a lot of people start to use, we start to have this high transaction fees, gas fee, everyone perhaps heard about, due to network congestion. While a scalability coming along, there's a different move has been made. So one is creating the third generation, which is internet computer like today, or Solana, Polkadot, Algorand, Avalanche. There's a lot of different L1 solutions who are building their Nobel consensus mechanism, and they try to solve the problem by creating completely new L1 protocol like Ethereum and Bitcoin, but in different design. On the other hand, there's another case of working with scalability is extending the feature of the existing L1. So that is something perhaps you heard a lot last year and this year still going on is layer 2. So what is layer 2? Layer 2 is basically trying to extending the function of layer 1. Mainly we know layer 2 is for scalability, and then when layer 1 is congested, layer 2 going to be used to solve the problem. True, but also we shouldn't forget that layer 2 is also adding some features in a way. So Bitcoin case, not only scalability issue, which has been maybe tackled a lot by different state channels, so that they making a some kind of how to say there's a different two parties can open private channels, off-chain computation happen, and only the channel when it open or close, it get loaded to Bitcoin, and then you figure that out. So it's kind of used for scalability. But on the other hand, there's also a bunch of side chains are getting built, trying to add a new feature to Bitcoin, similar to other, EVM chains, that some of those L2 solutions are not necessarily focusing on scalability per se, but they are maybe focusing on app-specific part. So that if you're building a certain finance platform which need a specific KYC, maybe they provide since the protocol level. Or when you're building a game, maybe there's a L2 protocol app specifically focusing on game solutions. So in Bitcoin you can see that many layer 2 are of course for the scalability as well, but those are a lot coming to adding new feature, in this case smart contract. And then it's going to open up all different bits. And one layer 2 solution I didn't mention yet is a rollups. So from EVM, if you're coming from EVM background, you heard about rollups a lot. Rollup basically doing is it aggregates multiple transactions off chain and posts them in single batch. Again, a rollup can be mainly for scalable by doing dispatching, but of course some layer 2 solutions going to be more a app specific rollup, and some going to be more general purpose one. And in Bitcoin case, we can think about also how these are contributing, having either certain features or mainly for the scalability solution when it comes to the layer 2. Now you will be asking, especially the one who came here, that ICP is, maybe you heard that a Bitcoin L2. This contradictory, right? I mentioned that a ICP layer, so internet computer protocol is the layer 1, third generation blockchain, but also you may see somewhere that okay, ICP is Bitcoin layer 2. So how it functions as Bitcoin L2? So precisely, it's not like state chain nor side chain or rollups. It's actually how to say, like standing alone, like a blockchain. So it has all the components to be considered as a layer one. But while it's a layer one itself, it also acts as a L2 Bitcoin by integrating directly to the Bitcoin network and providing like the user like a features or like the function added to Bitcoin given by layer two. So you can imagine that direct integration going to be helping them to using certain a strong feature of the ICP, which is a canister or like all different bits, which we're going to go into detail together. So this integration means that developers can create dApps on ICP that perform secure blockchain, like Bitcoin transactions while having ICP scalability or speed, or it has its kind of own computational power, which is a very interesting point. I personally think that this is the strongest part you may consider to use ICP, to having an on-chain computational power, which is amazing. And then this is going to be opening up new opportunity to build cross-chain solutions on top of this blockchain. So ICP, we already mentioned that this is a third generation blockchain, which can act as an L2 Bitcoin, but what is the ICP itself? So this is developed by Dfinity Foundation. You will see several speakers coming from there to extend the capability of the public internet by enabling host smart contracts and dApps at web speed. Like, what is this jargon? So it means that especially ICP is focusing on the on-chain computation part, that like it's supporting the computation directly happening on chain, creating all those kind of apps and all those data going to be handled on chain, which is a little bit different from the other blockchains primarily handling the data itself, but not the computation. So you may heard about the cases that people are making NFT collection, but instead of using the verifiable random function, they're using some off-chain computation to set up like a what random number going to be given to like NFT collection, and then they will be loading to IPFS and all this kind of stories. Partially like this is due to the like expensive computation cost and internet computer you can do such. So this is really interesting part, and a few more interesting feature coming up. Before jumping onto there, just I want to give a quick kudos to Dfinity Foundation and introducing who they are. So they are the behind like an ICP computer protocol, who we're building. They're a non-profit organization based in Zurich. They are founded in 2016, and of course, while there's a lot of different contributors, they're the primary one who is behind the protocol and pushing the boundaries of developing all different features at the moment. And then foundation is also really well known as a rigorous research. So you can see the different set of innovation they have been contributing to the whole space. By a chain key cryptography, or they're interested in decentralized governance system, or all the other bits. So if you're interested in those, this is going to be a great opportunity to look into and see that all those building blocks of the protocol, which is contributing further. A few key features. Of course, there's a different key features each protocol would share as a fastest blockchain or a greenest and all the other bits. I brought a few key features I personally found it most interesting from ICP is one is an absolutely decentralized computing platform. ICP team is also known as having a actual those validators geographically decentralized as well, and then they're making this virtual computer crypto cloud, so that instead of using cloud, you use ICP to have that huge size of the computation happening actually there, which is a really interesting one. And the second thing is, of course, chain key technology they have been using, enabling secure communication across the network, which is the key technology of Chain Fusion as well. And you may heard about canister. If you're not, so smart contract. If you have been in blockchain a little bit around, this will not be that unfamiliar term. So canister is kind of smart contract with steroid. So it's kind of providing more, it's giving more feature then use your smart contract. One of the distinctive feature I would say is they can serve web content directly to users. So you can kind of have the front end like immediately on Canister and having like huge computation behind. So this is a big advantage for you to testing your app like right away using smart contract Canister in ICP. And also they support like having unique execution model. So one interesting thing is like reverse gas model. So users do not need to hold tokens to interact with Canister. Rather, you app builder gonna be loading cycles, which is the unit of like gas, which is pre-charged, and users can use it directly. Which means when you're onboarding certain app, underlying infrastructure is blockchain, but actually you have Web2 users. And then when they're using, if they want to pay you with like Stripe, but like underlying blockchain infrastructure going to be doing all the executions and so on, you simply need to load your cycle into it, and then you can charge your users in Web2 payment platform as well. So reverse gas model is helping you to onboard users. Of course, it requires certain budgeting, and you need to understand what is the ICP native token and cycle. But once when you are into it, you may find this model is interesting, and it will provide you different experience of building that. Of course, like I mentioned, like already like 100 times, that Canister have like very unique performance and like a storage. So this is like another thing you may want to look into. If I can give you some numbers, I just wrote it down. In the future, the capacity going to be nearly like 100 gigabytes to several terabytes in the future. So you can see that the unit we are talking about is like really huge. If you were like handling some data on chain elsewhere. So this is something like you may consider that, okay, I can build like Web2 service like app on this chain, and it will be still considerably cheaper. And another interesting is like a network nervous system, which is decentralized governance of ICP ecosystem. So this is like a huge DAO, which manage the decision related to subnet creation, protocol updates, and node replacements, and so on. So of course, like blockchain is not just about having a decentralized tag, but also decentralized like decision makers, and depending on what ethics like you're deeply believe in, you can see that like people are making huge effort there. And this is the part that like ICP has NNS, where you can see what kind of on-chain decision is being made by DAO. And of course, like you have been invited, we can't miss Chain Fusion, which is the key part of today's session. So Chain Fusion, you may not heard of, because this is actually a new term. So Chain Fusion is basically enabling smooth asset data transfer between different chains, such as ICP and other major chains, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and actually Solana integration is coming soon as well. This framework is basically providing great experience to users and also developers who want to provide seamless experience to users. So that once when you want to, change the, NFT, let's say I have some NFT on Ethereum and I want to send it to my friend and somewhere, while the person gonna be in return giving me some tokens on other network. And then the other said that like, but can we make that happen only if certain condition met? And all this kind of, and I'm gonna have that app off chain and somewhere else. All these kind of things you want to tangle it together, and perhaps using by ICP, you can solve this problem being in just one perspective, not like talking to all different chain as a user. So if you're building those super app utilizing multiple chains across the whole blockchain ecosystem, and this is going to be the infrastructure layer giving you those superpower to talk to different chain, which is backed by a very interesting technology we're going to be quickly going through a little bit as well. Another thing is the older feature like which ICP has, like let's say using canister. So let's say the one example we had during EVM session was those NFT collection. If they want to very like VRF, like some random functions to generate NFT collection, which is truly random and on-chain computed, instead of like you move whole app to ICP, you can actually use ICP as your computing machine, while your app is still sitting on Ethereum due to Chain Fusion. So it's like not about like you completely choose one or another, but you can actually pick what features you really love from the protocol, and then you can use that as your like sidekick or like side function. That is some interesting part I want you to like really explore around, and especially in Bitcoin sense, like it didn't have a like smart contract before too much. So perhaps like there's a lot of more things you can consider. So there are going to be interesting apps such as, you know, like NFT marketplaces, like ordinary places, like getting traction. So maybe we want to have some cross-chain experience as this, or like DeFi platform, which going to have much more users and liquidity around decentralized social networks, or like some governance platform, or like some gaming solution, or like even data marketplace, Oracle, which going to benefit a lot to talk to different chains directly. And of course, like we cannot forget those payments and remittance solution, which is always has been, you know, the first core feature of the blockchain people were imagining, and still like people are working on, and perhaps this is going to be the one of the first like very OG users of the blockchain, which is going to make billion users. So in previous series, we explored the Chain Fusion together multiple times. One of our first like a early educate series, it was the time even before Chain Fusion was a thing, like it was a term. It was just like there as a technology, but there's no overarching word. And then like a last session was the Chain Fusion more focused on EVM side, talking about different bits. And now we are excited to explore a special edition dedicated to Bitcoin together, celebrating the Ethereum milestone and looking ahead of future upgrades as well. If you are not too familiar with, we will have a closer look to a brief roadmap of this Chain Fusion roadmap, understanding what has been accomplished so far, where we are standing now, what steps lie ahead of us, and so that what you can do. Of course, it involves some like a jargons, like so that like please don't get scared. We are not expecting all of you like understanding what is the exact like the cryptographic scheme. I personally don't know everything in detail, of course, but important thing is you know that like what feature it provides, and as a developer, as a product person, like where you are standing and what you can do with it. So this is the Chain Fusion roadmap. I would say you just need to focus on the Ethereum part, but I wanted to just give you an overview what kind of things happened. And some of them may make sense to you. Some of them you may say, I never saw that word. It can happen. But just like a quick heads up is like we will not go into everything in detail. And this is going to be giving you just some overview of like what has been achieved before. So past feature is the like a pre kind of Chain Fusion area. When we had a few first workshops about like a CK ETH token, which is chain key, you know, cryptography has been used, and this is kind of like a CK ETH token is the ETH token on ICP backed by ETH, and CKBT is the same concept. So there's like those kind of application level, and then like those kind of thing, how ICP can talk to Bitcoin network, direct integration, or like all the signature part. You will see all of like little details in the website as well. And then around that time, Utom come, and then also like you can see the official this milestone like kicking off. So last educate was around Tritium, which is more focusing on EVM integration, so that it was having this like RPC canister for ETH and EVM, threshold is CDSA signing, latency throughput improvement, which was done before in the past features. And beyond CKBTC and CK ETH token, we had like CK ERC20 tokens and CK USDC getting introduced during the program. Now, as the Ethereum, obviously you can see August 13, it got launched. So it was on the test phase, and then now it's like fully live. So Schnorr signing and on-chain Bitcoin block header is now on. You might be like wondering what is in detail. Like at the moment, like we just need to understand the brief. First, like this is opening up new types of opportunity, which we were going to break down a little bit. So that it's improving the integration with the Bitcoin directly, so you can do much more things and having a direct access to certain data and so on. And then, of course, coming up, Helium is Solana integration. So EDDSH signing and Solana RPC canister coming up. There's some projects already like working on a Solana integration, so you may see some interesting use cases coming very, very soon. So in essence, Chain Fusion enables decentralized two-way communication between internet computer and other blockchain, so that potentially ICP can be even in the middle, connecting all different chain, and the canister can handle all those like, data and compute them even on chain as well. So it allows IC canister to sign submit transactions, offering its powerful functions, and you can still like utilize and perhaps like even offering those like a liquidity around different chains can be very effectively used by offering this cross-chain functionality. And currently it's EVM, mainly ETH in EVM Bitcoin, Solana coming up. And as you can imagine, this is going to be opening a lot of doors to different blockchains, especially if they're using similar cryptographic scheme, it'll be much easier to getting onboarded. So if you're wondering, like, okay, there's a lot of words and how these concepts apply, and I really like the one model once in the community call, like Aisling was sharing a tree model to just help us understanding, and we don't dump the word salad to everyone who asks you, what are you working on and what is a chain fusion? So they're like, we don't want to start with like what is threshold cryptography? So the nice part is this one, very simplified version. So when we are talking about chain fusion, depending on whom you're talking to or like what part you're interested in, it can be completely different story we're talking about. So this was the basic tree, and which you can imagine maybe we can add another blocks by time. But one big differentiation is like either we focus on the technology part, which is underlying tech, and then more near to the application part. And all those are perspective, because for distributed system, maybe blockchain is the application of the distributed system at scale. But for someone who is building infrastructure on top of those protocol, those infrastructure are application on top of those protocol technology. But then if you're seeing someone building dApp, which is towards the end user, so you got the point, right? So like we have a different layer of it, and within the chain fusion still we can see chain key signature, or like a network network integration is the technology part. On the other hand, how this can be used, and it can be application or like chain key tokens, which are utilizing those features and offering, different possibility, either used by developers or like users making something on top of it. So another thing on top of this I wanted to share is like, so if you're developers or engineers, and then you are more near to the interested in like, I want to play around how this network integration is working, and even you want to try some bits by yourself, like you will be perhaps going into that docs and reading more. But this time in our series, we're going to focus on explaining how this technology is working, while our focus is like so that you can build app understanding what kind of features it can offer to you and what limitations still it may have, so that you can utilize this and building amazing apps and other cases all around. Cool. So the Ethereum, again, just like a quick recap. So through the Chain Fusion, ICP directly integrates the Bitcoin using native protocols like BRC20 and Runes, creating a seamless environment for ICP ecosystem, utilizing this and building amazing app and having access to like Bitcoin, of course. This milestone, there's like a two key feature has been added. One is like a Threshold Schnorr, enabling secure, efficient multi-signature transactions, and on-chain Bitcoin headers allow dApps on ICP access to Bitcoin block content without intermediary. I'm always like thinking if I'm pronouncing Schnorr really well. If I'm not, please excuse. That's what I heard in like perhaps German, right? Threshold Schnorr signature are cryptographic innovation that security and efficiency of multi-signature and multi-party transactions on the blockchain. So this is a lot of tech jargons, and I would recommend if you're particularly interested in those schemes, please feel free to ping us as well. We can direct you to the documentation as well. But as a developers, you can consider that this is just like enhancing the current integration with the Bitcoin. So you can actually like consider Schnorr and on-chain Bitcoin header is providing you just more powerful cases here. Another thing is additionally, like, having on-chain Bitcoin header, it means that dApps can have direct access to Bitcoin block information. It means, of course, like it can open up different design spaces that to perform certain verification or interaction with the Bitcoin blockchain, like directly, which gonna give us like a different use cases, enhancing transparency, especially someone like looking into those apps around, like, sorry that I need to talk about game again, but like a game random function is extremely important. That at the moment, a lot of games are building everything off chain. But in Korea, like a gacha system is very popular, that when you're playing game, you have some kind of random box, loot box, right? You perhaps want to know that random function is working actually correctly. Then if you can make that on chain, they can give you a certain proof, right? Such as there's a cases that you want to have a direct access to certain data and maybe utilizing certain feature from different chain. So this is going to be opening up new feature a lot as well. And now I'm going forward. I can see something coming up. And then, okay, like I just saw the question regarding the slideshow. I think this is now at this stage, perhaps I saw a question too late, but it might be obvious now. So I will be moving on. Now, like our question going to be like what we can build. So as you can see, Chain Fusion Educate Bitcoin Edition is followed by so Bitcoin Edition Educate series is followed by the hackathon part, which we're gonna have like different also like coding workshops, help you to understand and build further different use cases. So I want to share the like different examples of what you can build. And then, of course, if there's any like a wild ideas like we never discovered around, feel free to suggest. So first is cross-chain DeFi platform. Of course, we cannot miss this. So develop DeFi platform utilizing Bitcoin's liquidity, and then ICPs like fast computation and storage to create like a secure lending, borrowing, trading protocols. So this is going to be something like a, of course, obvious one, and yet we don't see so many projects around yet. So you may want to try that as well. Another interesting case is, of course, like a ordinary marketplace. So create NFT marketplace that allow trading, ownership transfers across multiple chain, and specifically focusing on Bitcoin. As ordinary has been quite popular like last months, you may want to find like what could be also interesting feature we can offer specifically if we can build multi-chain native like marketplaces. Another thing is cross-chain token launchpad. So you may heard about runes. So building like a launchpad that ICP can trigger, so taking care of the creation and the management part of the Bitcoin native tokens, which is runes. This is going to be interesting. So if you're building those launchpads, this must have the feature kind of like enable users to mint and distribute those tokens, trade runes using ICP smart contracts. And then like as you will see that this like a how to say, as like a going forward, like once when you have like a rune launchpad, you can imagine that, okay, with this token, what people can do, and this is going to give you a very like a interesting ideas connected to that. Another thing I'd love to share is decentralized identity and reputation systems. So I see a lot recently in the hackathon, people are discussing about reputation system, which is multi-chain. But I think there's a lot of challenges still ahead. One is like building a reputation system. You need to perhaps also like at certain points, like collect a lot of like different data and decide like how this reputation going to be made. But one thing to start from is like if this person has a cross-chain activity, how can we aggregate that information and provide it? And instead of building how to say meta level reputation system, maybe you can focus on something small and niche first. It can be like DeFi reputation. This person is like, you know, just like a trading like activities. You can focus on like a different other bets. If the person is active in DAO, especially if that person is coming from different protocol, have active DAO, and then if this person is going to like another protocol and acting in DAO, that's going to be interesting case, which you can imagine very naturally like cross-chain or like a multi-chain DAO solution going to be very interesting as well. If someone is active in different chains and participating to the DAO governance, going into like each protocol and like assigning in going to be really pain in the ass. Even within the like same or broadly same tech stack, even within same EVM, this is going to be extremely like painful. And you can see that people are building some apps around. So if someone can build this multi-chain amazing user experience DAO governance model, this is going to be enhancing not only those like a governance in each protocol, but users' life as well. So this is going to be such a win-win case. And of course, perhaps like this is going to be a little bit like a relatively boring case, but at the same time, most of the core cases like payment and remittance around multi-chain, as like you know, the first version of the blockchain solution, Bitcoin, started from replacing the current traditional finance system. And now more and more people also start to use crypto for payments. You can start to see that some people, even like some protocols offering Visa card or MasterCard integration. So building payment solution that can be cross-chain and very low cost, which is going to be very, very interesting. Still, this to be more educated even across the world for having enough users, you know, more than us who are attending this course, but actually the users who are using day-to-day their own credit card. So this is going to be a very powerful use case yet. It has been around, but still a lot of things to be explored. And a lot of us are already discussing that maybe the biggest barrier is the user interface and user experiences. And user experience, one of the problem is this like multi-chain experience that people don't know what to do and they don't understand necessarily which network my asset is sitting on. So if we can fix this one, this is going to be very, very good. Then maybe like according to that is like of course, as we mentioned last time, like some Oracle database like doing cross-chain functioning. There's a few like an Oracle provider function in different chain, but if you can make this one perhaps even like a very specific version focusing on different use cases, that's going to be a very nice start of it. I would say that's pretty much it on different use cases we would be interested in to see. Now I will be perhaps sharing a few links so that like you can check it out a little bit more in detail. One is, let me share. One is, here is the general roadmap. The reason I think it would be great if you go into it is like I omitted also a lot of bits that which is like upcoming ones, and also like each of them gonna have like a lot more in detail information if you're interested in, especially if you're, I don't know, CS students or like people who are interested in like those like integration, how it happens. This is gonna provide a general overview. And then if you want to see some companies who are using or who are relevant to this, I would recommend quickly reading this article, and you will see our upcoming speakers coming as well. So this article is like slightly older one. There is actually latest one, which after test phase is done, but I thought this article is great as this has the list of the protocols which might be, you know, relevant. And many of them are speakers coming later on. So like Bitomi or Omnity team, Helix, Bionic, all of them going to be providing you explanation of like what products they're building or like how they are utilizing and what kind of thing you can do. Either in the Educate series or they're coming in the Hackathon workshop to show coding workshop. So this is going to be the nice case that you can look into their projects. So either you can get inspiration and you can build ahead. So especially if you scroll down, you can see ecosystem plans for Schnorr. This is the what I meant. Another thing is, of course, like there's some developer resources which you can start to read ahead and start to build, which is going to be shared by, I am sure that Moritz in next session going to be sharing all those more in detail. So I will not share all those links yet, but if you're curious in those articles, you can find it pretty easily. So from my side, this is the general overview of the what ICP is. In a nutshell, ICP is the third generation protocol, which is serving a blockchain trilemma. And then now ICP is functioning as the layer 2 of the Bitcoin, adding the smart contract feature and even more, because ICP smart contract, which is canister, which is, so to say, smart contract with steroid, is providing its own strength. One of the notable thing I want to keep mention is on-chain computing power, but even further, there's a very unique execution model which is going to be opening up a different design space. And overall, all these are very, very much possible just because the chain fusion technology we are talking about, which I have a very fun photo last time people liked it. Why it's not going, 1 second. Yes, so that you have basically fusing this two protocols together to take the strength out of it and building a very interesting app around. So this a chain fusion, it may seem quite simple, but it's actually having a lot of different a technical in-depth technology is underlying there, which is we talked about threshold cryptographic schemes, ECDSA, or EDD. I just forgot the name again. This what else did that? Yeah, EDDSA. So depending on what kind of cryptographic scheme is fitting to the different chain, it should be all handled, and all these are a one by one getting upgraded, and you can see those CK tokens are integrated, so you can play directly with it as well. And there's of course a lot of different bits we are expecting coming out of the chain fusion later on, which is so that all those technical things you may see once and understand, but the important part is not this part specifically, but how, so that you can utilize this one. So now all you need to get is the benefit of it, right? So utilize this benefit and building an amazing multi-chain app, which is going to be again different use cases we shared, which is my limitation of my ideas. But I'm very, very curious that if you're going to be building something people say absurd or outstanding at the same time, because multi-chain native app might be something we didn't imagine before, so that you may create something nobody thought possible or makes sense, but that actually just makes sense by users. That's going to be an interesting case. So I would say this is it from my end. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of things you may want to sit and read through in detail. If you have any questions and feedback on in general our sessions and then our program, please feel free to reach out to me, Eomji Park, Encode Club, or Definity Dev. This is our Twitter. So if you want to share your journey of learning ICP and further, please, if you tweet something, tag us and let us know. Yes, Emma just shared the program website. So if not yet, if you're here, it means that you should have joined already. But if it's the case that you just joined, the link your friend shared, this is the place that you can go and sign up. And also we have a following program, which is Hackathon, that you can utilize all the skills and knowledge you learn from this, and then show what kind of things you have it in mind, and please surprise us with it. So I think this is pretty much it. We will be having a lot of fun next few weeks.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Eomji. Bye-bye, everyone. See you on Thursday.
See you, everyone.